everyone. If you've been with us for the last couple of hours, welcome back. If this is your first session, welcome. We're very glad that you're here. My name is Amber Featherstone. I'm the Assistant Dean of Enrollment here at Minerva. And this session is going to be all about our admissions process. And we are very lucky tonight to have Junior Menezes with us, and he's been on our admissions team for many years. And he's part of the team that works really hard both with the applicants, making sure all your questions are answered and helping you through the application, but also as part of our evaluation team. So I'm going to hand it over to Junior. He's going to do a quick presentation, just an overall review of our admissions process. There will be a little bit of activity in here as well. And then we will open it up and pepper Junior with questions. So as you think of them throughout the session, please be sure to put them in the chat, and we'll try to get to as many of them as we can. All right, Junior, take it away.
Thank you so much, Amber. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the admission overview. I'm super excited to see some of you here. So before we get started, my name is Junior Menezes. I'm originally from Sao Paulo, Brazil. I am the admissions coordinator at Minerva. I've been working for Minerva for about 4 years and a half now. And I'm excited to, give you a quick overview of our admission process at Minerva. We will have time at the end for Q&A. So as Amber was just saying, feel free to, as you're listening to my presentation, pop in some questions in the chat, and then we're gonna hopefully answer some of your questions. If you have specific questions, something about your transcript, something about your accomplishment, I'll actually ask you to contact us at admissions@minerva.edu. I am the main person responsible for, answering the messages from that channel. So you can even say, hi, Junior, I attended the virtual open house and participated in your presentation, and I have a few questions for you, or a few follow-up questions. And I'll be more than happy to walk you through and, to answer any questions you have about our application process. So let's get started. You can go next, Marina. Thank you so much. So Minerva offers an exceptional education at a much reasonable cost of most US universities. We have an innovative admission process that does not require any standardized tests, such as the SATs, ACTs, TOEFL, or IELTS. Minerva gets applications from over 194 countries. Our process was designed to treat all applicants equally and be as accessible as possible. So no matter which part of the world are you coming from, the application process will be the same. One important point as well is that you have to apply for financial aid separately. So you need to submit an application for admissions and another application for financial aid if you're looking for any kind of financial support to continue your studies. I am not your financial aid person, so I'm not a financial aid specialist, but I will do my best to share some information about financial aid with you as well, at least a basic overview of our financial aid process. Next. So our admission process focuses on who you are, how you think, and what you have achieved. We do our best to determine whether a student will thrive at Minerva, taking into consideration our rigorous academic environment and experientially challenging program, as well as understand a student fit to our global mission. We designed an application process to be accessible for all applicants. So we do not charge application fees. And, I was an international student that did my undergrad in a university in Japan and applied for universities in the US. And I remember the cost of applying for all those universities. It was really a pain for me. So to make sure that the application process is accessible to everybody, Minerva does not charge application fees. We also do not ask you for translated documents. So if you're an international student and is submitting your transcripts, you do not have to translate them to submit any official translation. That can be quite expensive as well. We're not going to ask you for documents that most US universities ask, for example, a year F, which is extremely expensive if you're an international student. So the application was designed to actually be accessible to all applicants. And that's how we make it possible for you to apply as well. Next. So I'm going to give you all an overview of our application process, which is divided in 3 parts. Let's talk about the first one, which is the easiest one, who you are. So in part 1, who you are, is just basically filling out all your basic information, your personal information, your family information, your academic history. And a lot of people message me every day, Junior, I missed, I'm not sure what I put in part 1. I want to change what I did before. Don't worry about part 1. Part 1 is not evaluated. We're not going to take into consideration the information you shared there. That's literally just to create and open your application. So in part 2, we have the section that we call how you think. In that section, we have designed a series of challenges. They're going to gauge your ability to process information in different ways. So we will check your ability for creativity thinking, for math skills, for written and spoken communication in English, and some other skills that we are looking at the admissions. For the challenges, because this is very different than other universities and other process for admission, we let you practice as well. So you will be able to practice some of these challenges when you are actually submitting them. And then the way you want to do it is all up to you. You can do all the challenges at once if you want, just as a normal exam where you sit in and do everything at once, or you can also do every part separately. So it's up to you. The only important part is that you have to have everything done by the deadline. And then we also have part 3, which is what you have achieved. So in this section, we're going to take a look on your personal accomplishments inside classroom, which is your transcripts and your grades, and outside of your classroom, which is your accomplishments, what you have achieved. Part 3 is very important for Minerva and very different. So I want to take some time to, share a little bit of more information about that for you. So next. So let's talk first about some of the requirements that we have. The first and most important requirement is that you need to be over 16 years of age to be able to apply. So if you are 15 and want to apply early, you can't open your application. Our system not even going to let you open your application. You need to be over 16 years old. You also need to be in your last year of your high school or have already graduated from high school. So if you are in your second year of high school, you won't be able to apply. We also going to require you to submit 3 years of academic transcripts. And these are going to be your unofficial transcripts. So whichever transcript that you have with you, you're going to be able to upload them on your academic center. But we also ask your school official to submit your official transcript. And then you can say, Junior, I don't have a school counselor. How do I do it? No worries. Anyone can submit that information to us, but it needs to be a school official, a school staff, a teacher, your principal, or a school counselor if you have one. If in your country as well, you are required to sit on a national examination to graduate from high school. So if you do IB exams, A levels, KCSE, or any other required national examination to be able to graduate from high school, you also going to need to submit those results for us as well. Just be careful. In some countries, you have to do an examination to enter university. That's not what we are talking about. We are only talking about national examinations that you have to do to complete your high school. And if you're in your final year of high school as well, you are able to also submit your predicted grades if your school has that system as well. Next. So let me talk a little bit more about the accomplishment section, which is inside part 3. So for us, this is your chance to share your passion and commitment outside of the classroom. So please don't include anything related to your grades or I got the highest grade on the math class. We are not interested in hearing about your grades here. We are interested to get to know more about you and to understand things that you are proud of. So I'm going to give you some examples, and we're going to talk more about this. But some examples of accomplishments could be any personal projects that you have, academic Olympiads, Model United Nations, literary or artistic works, leadership of non-academic initiatives, employment experience, and any other activities you are particularly proud of. And there's no right answer. We are not trying to trick you. So don't be like, what is the correct answer? Why do I have, this is not a game. We're just trying to give you an opportunity so you can tell us who you are, what you're proud of, and what you have achieved. And so the accomplishment section is a very, very important part because it tells us at admissions a lot about who you are and what you bring to Minerva. We also going to ask you for evidence of those accomplishments, of course. So you cannot just say like, oh, I was the first medalist in math Olympiad in Pacton. You're gonna have to provide documentation that can also confirm that you got into that position. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this as well. Next. So I want to show all of you one example of real accomplishment that an applicant has shared with us. So I'm going to give you about a minute or less. Please take a look and read this example of an accomplishment. So summary startup. Okay, I think we have enough. Next. Here we go. So here is the same example, but it's written slightly different. So let's take a look on the second example. And then when you finish reading number 2, I want you to tell me which one you like most, number 1 or number 2. Just put in the chat 1 or 2, so I can see if we have consensus here about which one you guys like more. Yay, you see, it's a no-brainer. It's not very difficult for all of you to understand that. It's not very difficult for all of you to understand that number 2 is better, right? But let me be specific about this. So let's see the difference between both of them. We see that on the first one, we understand that there is accomplishment there, but we don't see details about it. On the second one, we see the impact, we see the number of people, we see leadership examples. We have a better understanding of the size of that accomplishment. So one important part of and one important aspect of the accomplishment section is that you have to quantify as much as possible your accomplishment. So here we see the difference of the, how the accomplishment became like something bigger from the moment that that we quantified information on that accomplishment. And then just talking a little bit more about evidence for the accomplishments. So evidence for accomplishments can be submitted in many different, formats. So we accept pictures, videos, social media information, newspaper articles, website links, certificates, and diplomas. We also ask applicants to share any contact information about a person that could help us validate that accomplishment. But we don't accept family or friends as your person of contact. So of course, your father, your mother, or relatives, or your friends are going to say good things about you. But we are looking for someone that can actually serve as a point of contact in case we need to confirm any of information about your accomplishment. So for us to understand that a little bit better, we're going to do a small activity next. So Marina can open up the activity. We're gonna do this together. So Marina is gonna put a link on the chat and you will be able to access the activity. So you guys gonna see exactly the same example of an accomplishment that we have just read. And I wrote there like my name and I put example of evidence that I would, that I would, if I was writing this accomplishment, this is one example of an evidence document that I would submit. So if you're very kind, put your name there and Can you give me some examples of what kind of document you would submit as part of evidence? So I want to see what you guys come up on your minds about this. And here we are giving an example that this is your own accomplishment, right? You don't need to tell me about a different accomplishment. It's about this example that we just saw. I would attach the link of my software website and presentation of the software project, statistics, yes. I would attach a newspaper article about it, yes. Link and pictures of the business, exactly, business model. What else? Website, finished version of the product, yes. Financial statement, yes. Customer contact, pictures of me and my teamwork. Pictures work, but they're not super strong. So if just a picture of some of your friends working on the project wouldn't be enough evidence. But I like the way, I think we can close, Marina. I like the way that you are all thinking. That's the right way to think. So there's a difference between a picture and a document, right? So you can share as much information as possible and as much documents as possible. And please don't worry if there's any problem there, if we think that there's not enough information, we will contact you. We'll say, hey, your accomplishment A, it's missing some evidence. Could you please submit this? Or we will contact the person, the point contact person to ask more information about it. So you don't need to worry too much about it, but please share as much evidence as possible. So let's go on. I want to share a little bit of some of the resources where you can gather more information about the application process. I love the Minerva blog, which is inside our website. It's very easy to find. Over there, you're going to find some articles that we wrote at Admissions to share about the transcript requirements in general, accomplishment tips, how to prepare for the challenges. So there is a lot of resources that you can use. If you haven't followed us on social media, please do. Our marketing team has been doing an amazing job in providing a lot of content so you can have a clear understanding and like a hands-on kind of experience and view of what a Minerva student life is like. So please follow us on social media to know more. And we also have our amazing enrollment associates, which are all under the responsibility of Amber, our amazing dean. And we have an enrollment associate or an enrollment director that takes care of your region. So if you want to get connected to them, please contact outreach@minerva.edu and you will be connected with the person responsible for your region. And then you can, might be able to be connected with a current student or some of our interns, and they're going to be able to help with your application as well. Next one. Just bear with me, we're nearly over. I want to show a little bit of the data for the class of 2028, our ME28.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Yeah, can you just wait a little bit? At the end of the presentation, we will open for questions. So here's an overview of our ME28 class. Minerva's acceptance rate last year was less than 3.5%. As you all know, Minerva is extremely competitive and selective. But before you feel discouraged about this, I want to reassure you that our admission process was not designed to keep our acceptance low. Minerva's innovative education, free and accessible process, and high quality global education experience attract thousands of applicants. So that's why the process is very, very competitive. But again, I really hope that with my presentation here, you understand there's an array of different options for you to understand the process better and, to really present your best application to us as well. So be confident and do your best and reach out to us if you need any help. Next. So here is our admissions calendar. We are just about to reach November 1st, our first deadline for early action. we will beg you, do not apply last minute. This is your college career. I know you guys are super busy with high school, with your studies and projects, but this is very important. And we do receive a lot of applications last minute. And the quality of your application last minute is not going to be the same of the quality of your application, done with time and with care. So, and there's also there's always something wrong that happens at the last minute. So you never know. So my suggestion for you, if you're really considering Minerva, please try to apply at least 1 week before the deadline. We can be flexible with deadlines, but Minerva is becoming more and more strict with deadlines. So if you can finish your application for early action, we will be able to move your application to another cycle. But if you really want to finish your application and be considered for that cycle, please finish your application by the deadline. Next. We also offer the binding enrollment option. This option in the past was available throughout all the admission cycles, but Minerva has changed its policy. So you can only apply binding in early action. So if you want to, be part of the binding option, you need to do and decide for early action only. What is the binding enrollment option? This is an option to expedite the review process. So as soon as you submit your full application, Minerva makes the commitment to give your admission results in 4 weeks after you have fully submitted your application. In exchange, we ask you to enroll in 10 days after you receive your decision and pay the 500 enrollment fee. Which is, it goes back to you on your tuition for when you receive your financial aid package. But it is really an option for people that are 100% sure that Minerva is their path and want to receive their answer quickly because they want to make their decision to attend Minerva. It's very important as well that the financial aid application for binding is different. So if you apply binding, you only have 5 days after you submit your application, your admission application, to submit your financial aid application. So please be careful. And our financial deadlines are hard deadlines. We are not flexible with financial aid applications. So I'm going to ask you guys to really, really consider and make sure that if you're applying binding, you understand all the rules about binding as well. Next. So here we have a little bit of financial aid. Yeah, as I said, I am not your financial aid person, but Minerva, opens for everyone to apply for financial aid. And Minerva has 3 paths to offer students. The first one is low interest loans with payment plans designed to alleviate your financial burden after graduation. So you can receive low interest loans. The second one is paid term time internship. So students that need financial aid can work for Minerva as well. We call them work studies, and they work inside and sometimes outside Minerva with partners. This is a valuable experience where you're going to be allocated to one of the Minerva, teams, and you're going to receive a lot of work experience while that is helping you with your financial aid. And we also offer scholarship grants as well that could help you cover part of your tuition cost. On the right side, you're going to have an overview of the cost. This is the cost for the fall 2024. We don't have the cost for fall 2025 yet, but you can use the values over here as an idea of the actual cost. Next. This is a little bit more about the financial aid process. Again, I'm not your financial aid person, but I want to make sure that you all can see that there's a process, and financial aid is complex and complicated. So again, do not leave it for last minute. And if you have any questions, please do contact our financial aid team at financialaid@minerva.edu. Next. Here we have the financial aid deadlines as well. Financial aid deadlines are usually, not usually, they're all like this. They're 1 week after our admission deadline. So be aware that if you finish and submit your application for admission and right by the deadline, you're only going to have 1 week to submit your financial aid deadline. And again, late applications will not be accepted. So if you need financial aid, you need to finish your application during the deadline according to your admission cycle as well. So every cycle has a different deadline. Please be aware of that. Next one. I think that's what I have to share. I hope the presentation helped you to understand a little bit more about our application process. I'm going to open first for Amber to share some questions with me, and then I'm going to open for her to share some questions from the audience as well. So let's hear some of your questions, Amber.
Yeah, and while we're chatting, please, if you do have questions, let's put them in the chat so that we can keep track of them. So Junior, one question we've gotten in the last two sessions, and one I think students are really interested in, is sort of from the admissions perspective, what do you see as like common traits with successful applicants, right? Who are Minerva students and who's a good fit for Minerva?
That's a great question. And first of all, there's no right answer.
Yeah.
So every time a student talks to me, an applicant talks to me, a prospective student, they're like, tell me what it is. I want to see if I am that person. And every person is unique and is different. And that's why, for example, the accomplishment section is an important part of your application because we can see your uniqueness over there. But we're not looking for only one kind of student. But there are some traits that we see at Minervans, and it's very clear for us. I would say open to culture and differences. You guys are going to be exposed to different global cities. You're going to travel with your cohort. If you're not open to different cultures, different languages, or accepting different beliefs, you're going to have a hard time. So you need to be open to explore that difference and to embrace it. We love innovative thinkers, and a lot of Minervans are innovative thinkers. Minervans are bold. They're not looking for a normal path. They're not looking for just a lecture to sit down on traditional school and listen. They are active thinkers. They are looking for opportunities. They are resilient. You're going to be traveling to different cities, experiencing a lot of different changes. So you got to be strong to undergo those changes. And I would think as well that, and that's a very important part, especially of the admission side, is that we're looking for students that are academically ready. So students that are on the top of their classes, because as I shared, Minerva's curriculum is very rigorous. So we are looking for students that are also academically ready to, be able to perform well as well along all the challenge that students are going to face over the 4 years.
Yeah, thank you for that. Let's
Of
jump
course.
back to the different parts of the application. So with the challenges, can you tell us a little bit
Mhm.
about how the timing works and, how long is each challenge? And then maybe also like if you were going to sit down and take all the challenges at once, how long would that take?
Yeah, sure. So challenges are timed. So you're gonna have a time limit to actually do the challenges. We usually don't share a lot of details about the challenges because the idea is that you come and go and do your challenge, and then Minerva is gonna have a real sense of your hard skills, right? So we don't want you to, it's not an exam that you go there and prepare a lot and then you can do your best. No, we want to see who you are and what you bring to the table. So that's why you're going to look for information about it. We change the challenges every year. So be careful with the information that you find online. There's a lot of videos and stuff about, former students that share stuff, but we are aware of that and we change that information. So there's no way to trick the challenge to like, I know how to trick the game and then I can get in. No, that doesn't work at Minerva. We are very aware of that. But what I can share is that we do have a math challenge. We do have creativity ways to test you. We're gonna test your reasonable skills as well. We're gonna test your writing skills, and we're also gonna, oversee your English abilities in the challenges. What I can tell you more in terms of preparation is that the challenges are like an exam. So you're gonna sit down and do it. Do not do it when you're stressed. Do not do it when you haven't slept well. Do not do it when you're also doing exams for high school and you're super, overwhelmed with everything. You need to be well to actually do well on the challenges because you're not able to retake them. We're not going to allow you to do it again because, I had a problem in my house. There are some exceptions, like for technical problems, but we are very strict into allowing applicants to retake. And then in terms of time, Amber, what I can share is that if you want to take all at once, it will take about 1 hour and a half to do the whole thing all at once if you want to, but you don't need to. If you perform well doing all at once, it's all good, but you can do little by little. Again, the most important part is to make sure that you are done with everything before your admission cycle deadline.
Great. What about the accomplishments? So a question we got is like, what's the format of that? Is it an essay for all 6 accomplishments, like a different essay talking about it? How does that look?
Yeah. So in the academic center, in the admission center, sorry, there's one specific section that you're going to be able to write about your accomplishments. This section, it's very kind of explanatory. It's very easy to understand. There are different chat boxes where you can describe your accomplishment and upload documents that would serve as evidence, and also share with us the contact person for that accomplishment. We allow you to share up to 6 accomplishments, and we require that you share at least 3. So if you want to be considered, you cannot share less than 3 accomplishments. But I would say if you are serious about Minerva and you really consider Minerva, you should submit full 6 accomplishments because it's competitive. So you need to really tell us what you've been doing. And again, there's no right answer. So we're not looking for, this person, we're not comparing you with another person. Minerva doesn't work like that. We're not going to eliminate you because this person is better than the other person. We're really looking to understand who you are. And sometimes, I get messages all the time, I'm so sorry, Junior, I don't think I can apply to Minerva. I have no accomplishments. Really, you have no accomplishments. There's definitely something there that you're proud of, that you have achieved during your high school years or beyond, that you would like to share with us. So if you need help, attend some of our events, a lot of them done by our enrollment team, so you can understand better the accomplishment section and perform better. But I can tell you, there are things there that you can take out from your experience that are going to be very valuable for your application.
Great. And yes, that's a good plug. The enrollment team is constantly running events, specifically about the challenges and the accomplishments. So if you're feeling uncertain, definitely join us for one of those. Junior, let's talk about the Common App. So Minerva University is on the Common App. If I submit through the Common App, am I done? Is that it?
No, you're not. Yeah, so Minerva is part of the Common App. I know that a lot of you, especially international students and students in the US, apply through universities through Common App, which is a system that allows you to apply to multiple universities using kind of like one application at once. But as all of you are, if you are not familiar with Minerva, you are learning today, our application process is very unique, very different than other universities in the US. So because of that, you can't submit a full application through Common App. You're going to be able to submit part 1 of the application through Common App. So if you're applying to other universities and want to use your Common App application, you're going to be able to submit your application to Minerva. After 48 hours, you're going to receive an email from us that will direct you to our admission center, and then you're going to be able to continue your application, do the challenges, and do the accomplishments part directly on Minerva's website. So I discourage you to apply from Common App because it's much easier to just go straight to our website, start your application, because you have full access straight away to the admission center. If you are applying to multiple universities and it's going to use your Common App application, that's also fine. It's also possible. But again, you are not done with your application if you open your application through Common App. You have to submit everything on our website.
What about all the other stuff that people upload on their Common App, like letters of recommendation, essays? Are you guys considering that if they apply via Common App?
No, we're not. That's also very clearly stated on our Common App page. So we can't accept any documentation from Common App. Again, because our application is unique, we have a different process. We will not be able to sync any documentation from Common App directly to Minerva. So again, you are pretty much just starting and submitting your personal information on Common App, waiting for a few days, and then continue your application on our website. And also, but then I get a lot of messages like this. Oh, Junior, but my counselor already submitted my transcripts on Common App. We understand, but they are not available for Minerva. Minerva has a different format for that. So then your counselor will have to do it twice. So again, I would only suggest you to apply through Common App if you are really applying to like dozen colleges in the US and you're going to need it. Otherwise, it just starts straight away from our website.
Yeah. All right. We're still getting a lot of questions about accomplishments, right? So a question I get a
Okay.
lot is like, what is a good accomplishment? Like what, and I think you mentioned this earlier, right? Where when we put in our accomplishments, we're not competing against each other. But how does a student decide, what is something worth putting in that section?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm gonna use an example that it's close to home. So Brazilians have created this. I told you guys I'm originally from Brazil. I'm from São Paulo. When we apply for colleges in the US, we think Olympiads are the kind of threshold, the best way to present ourselves is like, oh, I received this medal for this Olympiad and another medal for this Olympiad. So it becomes a pathway that a lot of Brazilians think are the best for entering US universities. So when I started working for Minerva, I saw a lot of Brazilians doing accomplishments and putting 6 different medals that they received for Olympiads. That's not what we're looking for. You're telling me that you're good at Olympiads and that you got a result on Olympiads, but that does not tell me what you're proud of. That does not tell me what you're passionate about. That does not tell me how important that achievement was for you and how it has changed you. That only tells me like one aspect of who you are. So that's why I would say the best approach for the accomplishment is maybe to have a different variety of of topics or of things that you're proud of. You don't need to be very specific. Some people are very specific, they're very artistic and want to share about their artistic side. That's fine. But I would say that sharing different aspects are going to help us understand who you are better and what you bring to Minerva better. So I would strongly suggest you to think about different options. And one that a lot of people message me about as well is about personal accomplishments, like overcoming mental health, overcoming loss of a family member. That's why we don't define. Most universities in the US are gonna call this extracurriculars. You can tell an American university that your extracurricular was overcoming depression, but you can't tell us at Minerva that overcoming depression was your accomplishment, right? So we offer you the ability to share whatever is important for you and how you wanna tell us about that story. It's not an essay, so you don't need to write extensively. You just need to be able to capture well about that accomplishment and the impact that it had for you. And if it's an accomplishment, especially if it's an accomplishment that is outside, how it has impacted others or impacted your community or impacted that project itself.
Yeah, I like that of, extracurriculars versus accomplishments. I like the way of thinking of that.
Yeah.
All right, Junior, let's talk for a minute about cheating. Is there a way to cheat on the application?
Yeah, there's many ways of cheating on the application, but there's secrets we can get you. So please, we get a lot of people that think they're super smart, but we know that people cheat and they're gonna try to find ways to trick the system. And I can tell you there's no way to do it. So don't take the risk. Don't try to find different ways because we're gonna find you and we're gonna disqualify your application. There are different ways that are confidential, of course. I'm not gonna share our secrets here and how we can find, people that are cheating. But I think some important information is that we do require that you do all the challenges on your computer. You cannot do it on a tablet or on a phone. They're not gonna work. We do require that you have a webcam and microphone, and we do record your screen as well. So a lot of people are being this one I can share with all of you because the kids are super smart. But a lot of kids are very smart and like deciding to share a different tab or we find different ways to record what you're doing on your screen. And if you are using any outside sources during the challenges, you're gonna be disqualified. And you don't want to risk your opportunity. It's already, you're spending time and energy to do your application. Just follow, attend the events that Amber is telling you got to attend, get information, get connected, get into our social media channels to understand Minerva. Like go throughout the good path because it's gonna be worth it. Cheating, it's not gonna be a way that you're gonna be able to access Minerva.
Yeah, cheaters never win. All right, Junior, let's wrap it up and give us some
Okay.
advice. Give us some advice about applying to Minerva. What's your best advice if we're not sure and we're thinking about taking this journey? How should we approach
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I feel like I shared a lot that Minerva is for people that are bold. So I understand that, for a lot of people, this is very different. But a lot of Minervans, when they come to Minerva, we are exactly what they're looking for. Like we are different. We are not the same as traditional universities, and that's what makes us so innovative and so unique. So if that's for you, I think at least when I was applying to colleges, I wanted to understand if that college was for me. I was looking for as much as information possible to understand the student experience that I would have, what kind of environment I would have, what kind of academic experience, what kind of professional development I would get. So you cannot get that information just by visiting a website and doing an application. So I really invite you to, you know, um, really take the advantage of all the different channels of communication, all the different channels for social media that we are offering you, so you can have a real glance of what the experience at Minerva is, because that's going to help you. I get a lot of messages of people saying like, I know Minerva is for me. I'm passionate about it, because those are the kids that are reading about it. They are spending time, they are attending events. And same as many of you that are here with us, and I really appreciate it. So I think you are on the right path. But again, I think if I can share a last minute kind of important advice is time management. Again, do not leave for last minute. If I can tell you, based on data, people that leave applications for last minute usually offer a weaker application. So I know it's difficult. I know time management is challenging, but time your studies better, do better in terms of your application. Try to finish everything earlier because then if something happened, you have time to fix it. We have time to talk and to help you submit your best application. I think that's what I would definitely say. Time management is very important, and it will be important on your student life at Minerva as well as a Minervan. So I think it's a good way to test as well. So submit your application 1 week before the deadline.
I love it. I love that advice because you're absolutely right. We always have students waiting until the last minute and then something goes wrong.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
all right, Junior. Well, thank you so much for all of this helpful information and advice about applying to Minerva. To remind everyone, if you have specific questions, there are a few in the chat that are about your situation as it relates to your application. You can email admissions@minerva.edu. Most likely it'll be Junior who's responding to you. If
Yes.
you are looking for our events, I know Marina put those in the chat earlier. You can also email outreach at minerva.edu, and that is my team. We're happy to help you with the events. We can also put you in touch with current students if you're still exploring Minerva and deciding whether it's a great fit for you. Reminder, our upcoming early action deadline is November 1st. In our early action cycle, you can apply binding or non-binding. If you apply non-binding, then you should receive your decision by mid-December, and you still have until May to decide whether to enroll at Minerva. So it gives you a lot of time to explore Minerva further as an admitted student. So we always encourage everyone to apply early. And then, like Junior said, finish your application early as well. So again, thank you all. Many of you I saw in all 3 sessions. It was so great having you tonight. You all asked fantastic questions and participated, and we love that. And again, please reach out to us if we can help you with anything as you start going through this process.